We are getting to levels that we didn't think we were going to get to. With that being said, we are down a bunch, losing almost $2 trillion within 2 days and 10% of SPY. With that being said, a lot of stocks are in the red. We only have little ones like Target and stuff like that in the green. But with that being said, Tesla down almost 10%, Apple 7, Nvidia 7, and that's just in one day this Friday. With that being said, we are almost down like more than $100 since the new highs, and we're at that 505 level. Can we break 500? Most likely. We are breaking new lows, and we're consistently bearish, and we're almost in that level where we're going to be breaching bearish territory. With that being said, keep this in mind because we are at two different type of our trading is very skeptical right now to say. I feel like there's only two things that could really happen, and we could either go into a bearish territory, get down to those 450 levels, and or what we might see in the future is these tariffs that came out, the tariffs that came out maybe 2 days ago, bringing down the market overall. We could start getting good things back from other countries. We are already seeing countries trying to negotiate these tariffs. And the more countries that we get and the more good news that we get, the market can start going up again. And with that being said, we can see the market go all the way up, maybe like 550, maybe even back up to that 600 level later on. But with that being said, we need this great news to come out. But with that being said, we are also in a very big sentiment of uncertainty, and everybody has fear. I think the fear and greed, we're going to be showing you guys that a little bit later, but it is like in the eights right now, the lowest it's been in a while. And we got some other news to show. So we're going to be going through news, some levels to look at, and more. With that being said, I am recently coming out with daily levels with SPY on YouTube Shorts. So if you guys are interested in when to buy calls and puts, this was for yesterday. And these are my put levels. And as you guys can see, they got hit pretty well. And I made a short on that. So hopefully you guys benefited off of that. If not, just watch out for those levels. I'm going to do it before market opens and even during market opens sometimes and just give you guys updates. But with that being said, the VIX, the volatility S&P 500 index, we are reaching highs and we just have a big spike. We had a spike back in 2024, like a few months ago. But with that being said, we are getting a spike and we might even see levels that we've seen before, probably all the way up to that $65 level. But with that being said, you can play this both ways. You play to the downside too. So keep that in mind. Maybe later we get some good news with the market and the market starts going back. But just keep this one on your mind, the VIX, the volatility SPY index. Keep this one on your mind overall. With that being said, let's look at some news. So first one I want to kind of show is iPhone and how it's going to be affected. So normally, the iPhone that costs $1,100, the cost for everything, basically testing and everything, is $580. And that upcharge is going to be at around $850 with the tariffs. But with that being said, keep in mind that it's not, I mean, Apple might be a dub company and just keep the price the same, but most likely they're going to raise their prices up, and that's almost $300 more. So you might see the new iPhone $1,400. I currently live in Germany right now, and with that being said, if you want to buy an iPhone over here before the tariffs, like way before the tariffs happened, maybe even a year ago, we can go back a year ago, and a new iPhone is like $1,300 to $1,400 when the U.S. prices is that $1,100 mark, and that's in euros too, so you're paying even more. But that's just insane to really see the price hikes of everything. But yeah, but let's get to some news. But yeah, so tariff live update. So basically 10% tariff on imports take effect. So they're actually now collecting the funds from the 10% import. Wall Street fears Trump tariffs will wipe out 2024's market gains, which is kind of insane. But I mean, we're already seeing the SPY all the way down to that 500 level. We can break down below that 500 level, and I'm kind of seeing, but 2.5 trillion wipeout. We got another number coming out later, but that's insane. Another thing is, should you buy the dip? And a veteran trader explains why it isn't always the smartest thing to do. So recently, I think this market kind of shows you why you shouldn't buy the dip, because we've seen dips a lot, honestly. Let's get to the 4 hour time frame and kind of show you guys some other dip buy opportunities. And I'm not even gonna lie, I personally got into some dip buying situations too. But with that being said, let's zoom in a little bit. So right here, a lot of people thought this was the bottom. I said this can potentially be the bottom, but with that being said, we did get the tariffs, as we know, and the tariffs just brought down the market even more. But if you would have guessed that this is the bottom, at that 551 level, we're all the way down to that 505. So you would have lost $50 per share if you thought this was the bottom. And this one too, you could have thought that this one was the bottom, and then Trump came out with the tariffs again, and then boom, just wiped it out again. So you can guess that this is the bottom. But the thing about this one is that even if this isn't the bottom, I think this is probably the best level you can get some stocks at for now, even if it's not the bottom. Because the thing about it is that, yeah, you dip buy, but at the same time, I think this is probably the best opportunity we've ever seen to get rich off of stocks. And I'm personally loading up. I had about around 40% cash left after loading up. Before I did load up at this level with Tesla and stuff like that. I'm personally still waiting for Tesla to get below that $200 level, but the Nvidia, $94 is insane. And I'm personally looking at it maybe down to that 80, maybe down in the 80s. I'm going to start loading up, but with that being said, like I said before, I do recommend being patient before you load up on your long term, okay? But right now, man, it's all short term trading. You make a lot of money up and down. So understand that. Day trades, that's why I give you guys the levels for calls and puts. But with that being said, I think we're at that level where if we get one piece of good news for the tariffs to get canceled, the stock market is just going to rally and we're back in a bull market. But for now, when we're in the uncertainty, we even got China doing retaliations. I think 34%, we're going to be showing that a little bit later, but that's going to be bringing down the market even more. But listen, man, this is a great opportunity. $90. You could probably even get to Nvidia at $80, maybe even 70 if you keep going down. So I'm not saying that this is the bottom, but just understand. But here's the hard truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Buying the dip isn't always the smartest thing to do because sometimes dip is there for a reason and stocks drop because they're generally overvalued or fundamentally broken. So that being said, if we look at the stocks, why did we spike up in 2024? The AI, right? But with that being said, it's not really necessarily AI is bad. AI, we're still in the AI race. AI still has great things coming out. The robots, the autonomous driving. Literally, war is like we're in an AI race. And it's not really AI being bad, but it's the tariffs on the AI. It's how expensive the AI is going to be. People can really slow down their AI ordering because of the tariffs, and data centers and everything like that is going to be affected. It's going to be more expensive to buy a data center. So keep that in mind for your investments. So that's kind of why we're kind of selling off too. It's just overall, man, people are saying we're going to get to a recession, the dark age, Black Monday and stuff like that. So yeah, but the recession chances of this year. So we're at a 61% chance. So with that being said, we got to understand that. Oh my, you can bet on this. That's insane. I didn't know that. So if you guys want, you guys can bet your money on this. But with that being said, man, we're at a 61%, which is bringing up the chances even more. I think maybe around a week ago we were at 42% to that 41%, a little bit lower average. Let's yeah, all time. We go to all time. Average is like 40 to 50%. So it's not really as big, but we just spiked up a bunch, that 61%, and this can keep on going up. So keep this one on your mind. With that being said, some stocks, why are they getting kind of messed up right now? And we got to understand that big earnings is coming out, and earnings can bring stocks down even more because companies can say how scared, not really scared, but like how much tariffs will affect them. But this is basically their AI overview. But basically, consumer electronics prices could see a significant jump with potential increases of 40 to 50%, which is insane. So if we go back to that Apple thing, Apple, it doesn't really, it's like $300 more right now, but low key, you can see an iPhone being $2,000, which is insane. A new TV, $2,000, MacBook, 2000, or they're already $2,000. But yeah, but like I was saying before, China imposes 34% reciprocal tariffs. So basically, China is battling back. I think this might be the only one. I got to do some more research, but this might be the only retaliation that we got so far. But this can bring down the markets too because 34% is insane. I think right now we can pull up the list a little bit later. But right now, I think if you add it all together, it's around 50% or more. I think 54% that we have on China now. But yeah, well, fear and greed index, we are at a 4, which is insane. We were just at a 8, I believe, when I checked like a day ago, but we're at a 4 right now. We're almost 0. That's a true. That's insane. But we're at a 4 with extreme greed index and more than 100 million options contracted. So we had, I think this broke a record, but we had over 100 million options. That's insane on Friday. So that can really change the market also. But with that being said, let's get to some news. With that being said, let's get to some quick news that I have written down. So over the week of April 5th to the 6th, 2025, the US stock market has been significantly impacted by escalating trade tensions and policy developments. On Saturday, April 5th, President Donald Trump implemented the 10% tariff on nearly all imported goods, effective immediately. In response, China announced a tariff of 34% on US imports. These actions have heightened fears of a global recession and led to significant market volatility. Market performance: the stock market experienced a sharp decline, with the Dow Jones going down. Oh, Dow Jones and the SPY 500 going down almost 8% and 9.1% respectively over the week, which is insane. This represents the worst financial crisis on Wall Street since the pandemic in 2020. Looking ahead for next week, so potential for further retaliation. So investors bracing for additional retaliation measures from international trading partners, which could further impact the market's stability. And Federal Reserve response: market participants will closely monitor the statements from Federal Reserve officials regarding potential policy adjustments in response to escalating trade tensions and their economic implications. So, like I showed before, we got these are basically the tariffs that Trump put on other countries. These are, if you guys want to screenshot this list, you guys can. I showed this on the day before yesterday's video. So if you guys want, I explained it a little bit more. But basically, these are the tariffs that they have on us, but with the trading deficit. It's not really the tariff that they have exactly, but it's with the trading deficit, and this will be imposed basically, which is higher than we expected. I think the most that we really expected that day was 25% on all countries, but now it's kind of just insane. Like we got 34% on China, 46. So Kathy Wood keeps buying Robinhood despite market turmoil. So keep Robinhood on your radar, I guess. EU could fine Musk X $1 billion over illicit content and disinformation. So keep this in mind for, I guess, Tesla overall. The SPY is down 5%. The NASDAQ is down 5.4. This was on Friday. So Apple just lost that $3 trillion market cap, and we have no companies in the $3 trillion. Nvidia is all the way down almost to that 2 trillion, which is insane. We might even see Nvidia down below that 2 trillion. That's insane to think about. But yeah, man, I think Nvidia was number one for a little bit. Damn, man, everybody's losing. Retail investors bought $4.7 billion in stocks yesterday, which I think was on Friday or Thursday. I think it was Thursday, because we've seen a big hike or spike to the upside. I kind of thought we were going to continue, but then the sellers came into play. Um, so we have a country cutting tariffs on selected U.S. imports to 5%, which is insane. So honestly, man, if we can get 5 to 10% from each country and or zero, a lot of countries are going to zero, which is insane. I think I have more talking about other countries like Vietnam. Don't quote me on this, but I think Vietnam has a zero, cut theirs down to 0%, which is insane. So we are getting some good news, but the China news was kind of bad. So maybe China can fold first. I think US might fold first before China folds. I'm not even gonna lie. China's kind of direct with it. Next one is, oh yeah, we lost that $9.6 trillion since Trump was kind of in office. The SPY has erased all of its gains, and now it's trading where it was in August, which is insane. And man, we did that within like a couple of weeks, which is insane too. So the VIX, the VX1, and Nations Tail Decks. I don't know if I said that right, but they're all spiking right now. So if you guys want some plays to the upside, you guys can look at these stocks. Trump. So only the weak will fail. So he is kind of saying that he's standing on business. Not even gonna lie, but honestly, man, it kind of just depends on everything how it goes. But it's kind of like he's going to stand on business, but it kind of seems like China's standing on business too. Canada might be standing on business, but you understand that. Only the bright side, only need a 16% drop on Monday to suppress the Great Depression, which is insane. So I don't think we'll get 16%, but we might get 60% overall. So this is something that is insane too, because they're making history. So Trump tariffs, we lost 6% already. The COVID was 12. The U.S. credit downgrade was 6.7, and the global financial crisis was 9. And then we broke above the dot-com crash and the September 11th attacks, which is insane. So we're making history, guys. We're literally in history right now. This is probably your first downside for a lot of traders. A lot of traders, they were there for the dot-com crash. They were there for the global financial crisis. Probably there for the US downgrade. But honestly, man, if you're a young trader like me, only been trading for a couple of years, you've probably only seen COVID and the tariffs so far. So, man, hanging tight. It's going to be okay. Because every time we spiked up, we made new highs. So understand that no matter where you dollar cost average, it's still going to be beneficial if you hold it for a long term. Just don't basically shout out to Warren Buffett. Man, he's been making some bread, man. 12.7 billion year to date change. And I mean, you guys already know Elon Musk, man. He lost 130 billion, bro. That's bro, that's like everybody's portfolio right now, man. You're losing almost half your net worth, bro. That's insane. And then we got some other people losing some money too, but this is insane how much money people has lost. But Warren Buffett, man, number one, top 20 companies by insiders purchases and sales in 2025. So if you guys want this, you guys can screenshot this. Just thought the list was interesting. Got some Airbnb and just other things like that. But this is how many people are buying and selling basically in insiders. IRS to fire. Okay, so IRS is firing 25% of their staff, and I think Donald Trump kind of said this, but this is insane. So, a lot of people are losing their jobs. So I just want to say, I hope everybody's okay. You can trust in the stock market a little bit if you plan it right. But yeah, man, this is the world that we're in. So, little plug, man, go watch some other videos. But I'm trying to come out with daily videos for some levels to look at. I'm trying this out. So you guys can comment down below on the shorts what I can do better next time. I try to pre-mark everything and to get it right for y'all. But I mean, I'm gonna do it during market hours, and I'm gonna try to get one before market opens too, to give you guys some levels to look at for calls and puts. Market's gonna move one or two ways every single day. So please go check them out if you guys want. It's okay if not. I'm just letting you guys know every single day, market hours. And I might even try on the weekends just to give you guys some more levels. But I've been trying this out a little bit, so you guys can check it out if you want. With that being said, let's look at some levels now. So levels to the upside, man. For NVIDIA, we're gonna start off with NVIDIA first because NVIDIA is a big one, but we can break down even more. But first off, for the upside, I will look at that $100 level first. 105, 110, 114.6, 117.8, 120, 124, 130.18, 133.96, 137.30, and 141.2. Okay. Here, man, we day trade, so that's why I have so many levels to look at, because once it breaks a level, you either want it to retest the level, but you can have a bounce down. Okay, so understand that if we break this level, we're going to go to this level, and we might even get a bounce down, and then now we're going to be testing this level. Might either get a bounce up and then break highs, and or break below and then make some more lows. So understand that, why I give you guys multiple levels, so you guys understanding your day trade, so you can determine if you want to get in, stay in, or get out. Okay. But to the downside, we're going to be kind of summarizing these, but 95 is the first, or sorry, we're at 92 now. But first level is going to be that 92 level. Next one is going to be that 90. Look at that 87.5, that 85.5. That $80 level is going to be a key level. And then below that $80 level, 78, 76.5, 72.5, and then that $70 level for NVIDIA. SPY, man, SPY is my favorite, man. If you guys got any questions with SPY, it's what I day trade most of the time. I do got some long terms. We are looking a little bit green, a little bit of a bullish candle, a little bit. Not really, but I mean, you never know, man. If we can get another green candle in that 4 hour time frame, man. But honestly, I think for a bullish trend for the SPY right now, I think we just need some fat candles upwards. Fat candles upwards, and or just wait it out and just wait for it to, break some decent levels. But with that being said, man, some levels to look at, of course, you guys already see them: 510.8, 513.1, 517.4, 520, 522.5, 525.5, 28, 530, 535, 540, 544, 550. Okay. That's to the upside, man. And I told you guys so many, because honestly, man, if we get some great news, and I'm saying great news, okay, we can break up pretty fast. To the downside, I'll be looking at that 500 level. Okay. We're just going straight away 500. We break below that 500, look at 497.5, 495, 492.5, and that 490. If we keep breaking down, 80, 480, 487, sorry, 47, and then 45, and then 42.5, and then 480. So keep these on your levels and on your radar. But with that being said, thanks for watching the video. Smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new. Comment down below if you guys have any questions. Comment down below what plays you guys are thinking about making next week. And man, let's have a great trading week, man. Next week, honestly, man, I feel like right now we're not really clear right now. I thought April 2nd we'll get some more clear insides, but now we're waiting on retaliations. So I think after retaliations and everything like that, give it maybe one more month of this of not understanding the market really and just playing it day by day. I think one more month, man, and we can see a constant trend up or down, honestly. But I mean, honestly, man, hopefully we don't keep going down, but you never know. If we keep going down, I think after a month we'll understand that we're in a bearish trend and or bearish market, and then we can just keep on going down, just understanding where the market's going. You know, Around here we like to make money both ways. Make sure you guys have a long term, something that you hold maybe 5, 10, 20 years that you can cash out later on in life when you're retired or something, and have yourself a little swing trade account, have some, you can have some option plays and or just buy shares and trade them weekly or monthly. And then have you guys a day trading account where you trade not that much money. I personally ask for 10%. I'm not going to tell you guys what to do, but I personally ask for 10%. If you trade with $10,000, you can make $1,000 a day. I normally go for 5%. I'm not even going to lie, especially in this market, because you can't really tell which way the market's really going to go. I mean, we're obviously going red, but with that being said, man, I think trading 5%, $500 a day, that ain't bad. You're still green. You're still green. And then use your profits for that long term and those swing trades. But with that being said, man, comment down below if you guys have any questions. See you guys in the next one. Check out some other videos. I have a lot of videos to become financially free. And we have a website coming soon to teach you guys more about stocks and how to read the charts and everything. So stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys next one. Love you guys.